Hi everyone, it's Theodore Bromley again. Today I'm going to talk about selenite. I'm going to talk about selenite because 25 or so years ago I had this amazing experience while I was selling crystals. Yes, I wasn't in a deep meditation or anything like that. I was trying to sell crystals. Anyway, I happened to be selling Arkansas quartz. In my home I had an open house, and I happened to notice that I had selenite and amethyst on a small shelf, and even though the quartz was the feature, I determined that I was going to show these crystals to these people too, just to let them know in case anybody wanted any. So I picked up a selenite in my left hand, and I picked up an amethyst in my right, and I walked towards my customers, and all of a sudden I was just overwhelmed by light. I was so overwhelmed that I lost vision of everybody that I was approaching, and I was stopped dead in my tracks. Then I saw a beam of light with my eyes closed coming from my selenite and my amethyst, a beam from each of them, going right up to my crown chakra, and then a much exaggerated beam of light going up into the universe. And while I was in this almost imprisoned state, but it was a very, very comfortable state, I was given the message that this is selenite, the male aspect of the crown chakra, where the amethyst is the female. And I've always been attracted to amethyst, and even to this day probably would say that the amethyst is my favorite crystal. But the message that I got was that for the first time in my life at that time, I even considered that there was a masculine aspect to the crown chakra, and from then on I learned and studied all kinds of things about the yin and the yang in all the chakras, etc., etc. But what this message was, and it was for me at the time, personally, was that it's not time to go up to the Himalayas and meditate in a cave for 40 years. Been there, done that. This is the time, this is the lifetime where I have to go out and do stuff. And so ever since then, I've regarded selenite as my Mother Teresa crystal. I've always had it around for sale. I've always had it in my, very close to wherever I am. And whenever I need a kick in the bum to get going on doing something that I know is for me to do, a selenite will give me a kickstart. And so that's what I recommend for those of you who, if you know in your heart that you've already done 50 workshops and you haven't done very little to apply what you've learned, it's maybe selenite can be used to put you into that frame of mind that will help you to apply what you've done and do the service work that you came here to do, especially this time with amazing changes that we're all experiencing. We each have our job to do, and remember, if you don't do your job, it doesn't get done. Thank you very much.